I think good parenting is taking the strengths and weaknesses of whoever is involved in that parenting and doing the best you can to help this kid grow to become a person that they were designed to be, functioning in society, feeling powerful and able to manage themselves and to be a blessing to others. It's the process of trying to help another human being find their place and find their way in life.
So do you have a golden rule or a set of 10 commandments that help guide you as a parent doing exactly that, helping your child to be the person they were always meant to be?
Well, I guess for me, there's something about co-journeying alongside a person uh, that I find really helpful. I think in the past that we've been quite focused on the behavior of a child, that this is about helping control a child's behavior. We want them to be respectful, we want them to be responsible. And so we have all of these behaviors that we want. And so it becomes about how we can control that child to exhibit those behaviors for a lifetime. And I think nowadays we've been sort of taking a sort of deeper step into not just trying to manage the behavior, but trying to develop the character of the heart out of which the behavior flows. In the same way, Jesus called us to know him and to love him. And if we love him, we will do what he says. That sense of trying to coach a child's heart to know God and to know what they're called to be in this life and how to do that well.
That's an interesting distinction you make, Rachel. It's not just about getting the right behavior. When I was growing up, and admittedly that wasn't yesterday, it was very common to hear people quote the text, spare the rod and spoil the child. And corporal punishment was, for many parents, probably for most, an integral part of bringing up kids. Now, apart from the fact that the law prohibits that now, I'm guessing that most of us wouldn't want to go back to that way of doing things. So how do you impart values? How do you give correction? How do you maintain discipline in a way that respects the child as an individual?
That's a great question. For me, it's about coming alongside the next step for your child's development and giving them safe boundaries so that they can understand what they're looking at. So much of what happens is we say, this is what you do and this is what you don't do, but we don't explain what's happening behind that. So they learn behavior and they learn how to navigate the world from just a series of yes or no's, but it doesn't quite get into their heart. But to say, no, we don't do this because this is how we view other people. This is how we view ourselves. This is the impact it has on yourself and others. And there's a consequence for that. And that's how it's going to work out. It means that they are actively engaged in that learning. And we're teaching them more than just what to do and not do, but how to think, how to perceive, how to feel, how to process those feelings. And that then creates a healthier person as they go forward, because they're not trying to cope on their own, but we get to be there for all of those emotional coping and all of those learning. We're there to coach them in understanding, seeing the world, and learning their place within it.
So good parenting is not just about imparting, do this, that's the right thing to do, and don't do that. It's really about a great deal of explaining, a great deal of communication with the child. Am I
Yes,
picking that up right?
absolutely. And I think this is why, we're talking about this in Marriage Week, because this becomes an issue when you're married. Not every parent is married. Their families come in incredibly different shapes and sizes, but it's a particular stress when parenting is an aspect of marriage, because then you have all of my beliefs and values and things that I think are really important for children, and you have your partner's beliefs and values and how they were raised, and often they're in conflict. Often you're trying to figure out, what are my hopes and dreams for my kids? What are yours? What is your intuitive, instinctual response to that infraction? What's mine? And it can become a real place of stress, because there's so much that's in parenting. It's not just we want our kids to be well behaved. It's actually, what are the deeply ingrained things in me? What are the deeply ingrained things in you? And how do we together want to consciously raise our kid to think and believe? And so there's a lot in there.